Welcome back. Vikas Khemani, President, Co-Head, Wholesale Capital Markets at Edelweiss Financial Services is joining in right now. Vikas, good morning. Great to have you with us here. You've been bearish. I mean, Edelweiss as a house has been pretty bearish as well on things for a while. What's your sense? How much more can the markets derate from here?
I think we have had a sharp fall, steep fall, both I think in the equity markets and across asset classes. I think probably we are in middle of sort of a crisis where we have got hit by the foreign exchange rupee depreciation, oil price hike, inflation hike, GDP slowdown, IIP numbers slow down. So I think all those things are sort of leading to current market situation. Now, whether it continues likewise in the next quarter is very much dependent on what actions government take in next few months. What stand RBI takes on the monetary tightening policy. It will all depend on that. I think the key thing is to start changing at the macro level before market starts sort of doing anything. So I think market would look for the indications from government, from RBI, and I think accordingly will react. My personal view is that I think government would be worried and RBI would be conscious of the fact that they need to do something, and I think some amount of action would be taken. So I guess there would be an effort to sort of calm down the volatile market, panic market at this point in time, and I think that's what I would expect.
Okay, so this is a popular question when times are very tough. What is the stress case? If you've done the numbers mathematically, and if you want to use a broad template of a previous crisis like the financial crisis, what's the stress case for the Nifty as you see it?
See, I think for everything, to decide on a level, it is linked to something. So if let us say if you were to put a PE number, E is a big variable, right? And E depends on a lot of other factors. So I think if you see, if I were to sort of answer this question 2 years ago, I don't think I would be saying in this year we would be growing, or we will be having a negative growth in the earning kind of situation. But that's the reality. So I think E is a variable part, and hence I never look at this absolute number sort of you would look to invest in or not. Right now you are passing through a tough time, mini crisis kind of situation, and I think this could degenerate further if there are no corrective measures taken, which are very tough actions. And if you need to take tough action in a politically sensitive period, I think chances are that they may not be taken in a proper manner, and I think hence you are not very sure whether this will degenerate further or will improve from here on. So to me this looks like more like 96, 97, 98 kind of period. Even if the recovery happens, it will be slow to happen. So in my opinion, one should not sort of preempt anything. One should wait and I think let the market settle down. Let indicators start pointing out towards a recovery before you making a fresh equity exposure.
What corrective action from here, Vikas? You said you're expecting more efforts from the government, RBI. Let's talk about the government. What more corrective action do you expect realistically?
I don't think we need any big bang reforms. What we need is, I think, basic executive decisions, which can basically, change the current stalemate. We need coal excavation to start. We need to stop coal import, which currently country is importing and which is done on the forex reserves. We need iron ore exports to start. We need our imports to come down. We need manufacturing facilities to pick up. We need investment cycle to pick up. So all these are not necessarily linked to some big bang reform. They are all linked to basic administrative and executive decisions. And currently, I think those kind of things are not happening. And I don't know whether they will start, in a significant manner. But at least it seems that government is right now trying to take some actions in terms of getting the executive decision going, especially in the critical area. I have no answer because they have done in the past also similar kind of noises. I have not been able to do. So whether they will be successful this time or not, I am not very sure. But at least they are seemingly again making some noise that they would sort of do some action to get the investment cycle going. So let's see how it goes forward. But I think more than big bang reform, I think we need to focus on productivity improvement, focus on current account deficit improvement. And I think once we get that, then I think probably there will be time for big bang reform, which I guess would be only post-election. The new government would be able to be appropriately able to take the right decision on the reforms.
Yeah, elections. I mean, that we hear quite a bit now. Vikas, I mean, so do you hear that often from investors? So elections as not very far away, actually as a positive, as a silver lining?
So I think, currently, obviously, in times like this, everybody is also, sort of, worried and pessimist, about India, given whatever is happening around. Very difficult to sort of find these days optimist about India. But I think that itself probably might be a silver lining, that Indian, the view about India is, almost at the bottom, I would say. Everybody is bearish, everybody is worried, everybody is pessimist. So, I mean, but at the same time, I would say that, everybody do believe that I think from a longer term perspective, India holds a lot of promise. We need to sort our problems. Unless we sort our problems, we will not be able to get back. So I think, long term view, belief in long term potential of India is there. Whether we will be able to, unleash that potential is something, everybody is putting a question mark on. So, so still long-term belief in our potential has not been lost, and hence I feel that is what I would see as a silver lining. And I think if we sort it out, probably all these guys would come back to the markets in big bang.
Okay, before I get into sectors, a quick question, Vikas. On the broader market, and this is with regards to QE taper and things like that. What is your sense? If you get some symbolic reduction in bond purchases by the Fed, because it's spoken about it so much now that doing nothing would not send out the right signal. So you get from 85, they say we'll buy $75 billion or $70 billion, 10, 15, $20 billion less of bonds every month. How much more damage can that do, or do you think that's already in the price now?
See, definitely there is one big emerging market as a basket has taken a big toll due to talks about QE tapering off. So it all depends on what kind of speed and quantum it comes with. But definitely the trend towards emerging market would continue to be like this. May not be this kind of sharp depreciation as we have seen so far, but I think emerging markets as a pack will have to work a lot in terms of productivity improvement to see their currency improving back. And I think hence, in my opinion, I think the focus will come back in near term on exports, on productivity improvement, on manufacturing, on what do we sell to developed markets to neutralize our current account deficit. So I think in times to come, you will see a lot more focus on export-oriented stories.
Vikas, stay with us. A quick commercial break. I'll come back and we'll get into sectors and stocks, and we'll start with financials because that's suffered the most damage. Vikas Khemani is with us. We're taking a break. Back with him in 2. 5450 on the Nifty futures right now. That's about 0.6% higher. Bank Nifty is up 1 1/3% plus 9070 as things stand. So it's not looking bad at all. But what's doing very well are exporters. And what I've not done so far is look at pharmaceutical names. But let's just quickly put the tech names up, because those are the two spaces where we've seen the maximum outperformance coming recently. So let's just quickly start with Tech Mahindra 3%, HCL Tech about I think 2.25%. Infosys is come off a little bit from the day's low, but still up about 50 rupees from the lowest point of 3088 on futures, and TCS up about 3%, 1981 on that one. Sun Pharma, let's just put up, that's the other exporting sector. Sun Pharma is up 4%, 533. Let's just put up Dr. Reddy's Laboratories. I mean, out of pharma names recently, last 10 days or so, it's done the most. Let's just put up Lupin. Lupin did well yesterday. There was an upgrade from, I think, Citi and Cipla. Just sort of limiting myself to the large cap pharma names. Cipla is at about 410. That's up about 2% or so. Rupee costs, dollar revenues. I mean, that's basically the theme with IT and with pharmaceutical names as well. And with the rupee slipping once again to about 66, 63, it's recovered quite a bit. But the point is, I think it's recovered quite a bit actually. So the last we looked at it, it was the low was I think 67, 30, 67, 40 or so. But there has been a sharp fall which has happened in the value of the dollar. So the rupee actually is appreciated from that point, and this is happening right now as we speak. So we'll get some voice on that as well in a bit. Vikas Khemani at Edelweiss Financial Services has been with us. He's been taking questions. He's bearish on the broader market structure. Expects the government to do more. Vikas, let's get into stocks. And I just want to start with financial names for a bit. And let's start with private financial names. What's your sense, Vikas? Is there more to go on the way down? And these bounces will be very short-lived?
I think again, banking is one sector which is clearly and directly linked to macro, especially the interest rates and the GDP growth, liquidity situation. And I think so far it has got hurt based on these deteriorating macros. Having said that, if something something is done to settle those markets down, I think banking sectors will stabilize. But at the same time, I do believe that asset quality issue is not going away. In the coming quarter, you might see banking results depicting the same situation. Asset quality might worsen, and some amount of profitability compromise might happen due to M2M losses on the securities portfolio. So I think I would still believe that probably banking sector might have further downside. Even if things start improving, I don't think asset quality improvement will be happening in a hurry. I don't think still that any major things are done to sort of revive the infrastructure sector, which has been a major cause of worry for most of the banks. So I do feel that banking will continue to remain under pressure. There will be temporary pullback rallies across, which I can't be ruled out. But if you see after a pullback rally, whether they are giving back is a question. So I think I'm not making a case for a trading sort of pullbacks, but I think I would want to wait and watch for next couple of quarters before taking a significant call on the banking sector.
Because the HDFC group names, HDFC Bank, right, which have fallen quite a bit, traditionally seen as safe names, they don't go down as much as the markets do, even as much as the even as much as financials do. They've come up, rebounded, yesterday along with the market. But what's your sense? Are they attractive yet?
See, I think HDFC Bank kind of names are very, very over-owned by the foreign institutional investors. And anytime, there is outflow by them, I think that these are the stocks which could be easily sold by them because they are liquid, large cap, and, there's generally a buying flow on the other side. So, and I think typically when the, big bang typically when there's a FI outflow happens, you will see these kind of names definitely getting sold off, which is what has happened in the recent past. Having said that, I do believe that the names you mentioned, I think, have less problem in terms of asset quality. HDFC Bank is a very, good quality in terms of a bank from on all perspective, from operating matrices to, also on the asset quality perspective. So if it falls from here, I think one can start making some investments. But I think one has to be very mindful of before making any investment in the banking, what is the asset quality issue from here on.
Pharma, consumer names, media, I mean, these are some spaces which still have very large FI exposure, right? I mean, both absolute exposure in terms of holding and also most foreign investors are overweight in their respective portfolios on these sectors. That's the other debate which has gone on, Vikas, that, these are spaces most vulnerable to corrections. What's your sense there?
So look, again, I think in case of FI selling, large amount of FI selling happens, then you will see these names also getting sold off because these are the names which again can be sold. They are liquid, large cap, and there are counter buying available. So I think they would be sold off. In a defensive environment like this, I do feel that investors would not get out lock, stock, and barrel in FMCG stocks. I think so. Any underperformance or any fall in the consumer names will be a function of 2-3 things. One, I think they being over expensive already. B, I think some of the FI who's been invested, if they get redemptions, they will have no option but to sell. And 3, I think somewhat slowdown is happening in the consumer, in the volume side. And I think if that happens, that to that extent, that partly that has to get reflected in the share price. So I think combination of these three factors can lead to somewhat correction in the consumer and pharma names. But by and large, I feel that investor will not go underweight situation in this, given the times we are in. Investor will, in my opinion, will continue to remain sort of either equal weight or overweight. I mean, if you go back again in 96 to 99 period, I think all the consumer pharma defensive stocks were, got re-rated, and they were trading at a significant premium to the then market valuation. And I think similar trend is being repeated now. So unless environment sort of changes big time, you would not see consumer sectors being underweight or in most investors' portfolio.
IT, the BSE IT index, for example, because the other space which has done very well, and look at the exact outperformance, 40% since mid-July. 40% outperformance by the BSE IT to the Sensex since mid-July. Do you see more upside there?
I think still IT is in early stage. In my opinion, IT has a couple of levers. One, I think the developed market growth coming back, or improvement of the prospect of growth in developed markets has definitely given more visibility on the volume growth of the IT companies, and I think that is one significant factor. Secondly, falling rupee definitely helps, and thirdly, I do feel that still the valuations are not crazy for IT companies. I think some of the mid-cap ITs are available at single-digit multiple or low teens, and I think if the growth comes back, if the and I'm sure with the way rupee is, bottom line growth would be definitely far better than street is expecting. So if rupee environment remains weak, IT the companies will definitely do well. So I think it is also one of the defensive sector. So I do feel that IT might act as a new consumer in the current environment, and hence probably investors would slowly go overweight in the sector. So, and I feel that IT as a trade is here to stay at least next 4 or 5 quarters, unless something changes either in the US growth environment or rupee appreciates significantly from here, and both are unlikely to change in the next 3-4 quarters.
Because oil and gas, especially things like BP, IOC, HP, ONGC, these have gotten hammered more recently, especially downstream oil marketing companies with oil prices shooting up. Is there any value there, or they are still very vulnerable?
Look, again, all these things are very much government decision dependent. One doesn't know what decision government will take as far as the oil subsidy is concerned. Market is making a hypothesis that oil subsidies will be hidden in all these companies rather than the fiscal deficit. So if you believe in that hypothesis, all these companies earnings will be under stress and uncertain. So I think one doesn't know that what kind of situation will pan out. So in an environment like this, while you can make a investment case in some of the OMC that they are trading significantly below the book and below the replacement cost and all, but I think earning capability will always be hurt. So one doesn't know what kind of situation will pan out, and we think that these stocks will remain under pressure till the time there is clarity which comes from the subsidy, and which is unlikely to happen till general election. So from next 12 months perspective, I would not advise to sort of look at these sector. You are better off looking at things like Kane India or Reliance in that space, which is immune or which is insulated from these kind of decisions.
Vikas, thanks very much for your time. Great to have you with us here, and good talking to you as always. Vikas Khemani at Edelweiss Financial Services with his thoughts on the market and a few sectors. I just want to point out that the Nifty futures are up a full 1% now, and it's just consistently gone up. Very clear, smooth, sort of move up so far. September futures, the new series 5467, that's 1%. Bank Nifty is up 2%, nearly 2%. Futures, that is, September futures, 9118 on Bank Nifty futures, and that's what 2% or so. So that's pretty good so far. Everything is up. So techs are up. Infi, TCS, HCL Tech, Tech Mahindra, banks, SBI, PNB, and of course the private sector financial names are up. IndusInd is up 4.5%. Yes Bank is up 4.5%. IndusInd is up 2.5%. Axis is up about 1%. And oil stocks are slightly higher as well this morning. So, and it's a mixture of everything. Let's take a quick break. We are back in 2. Arindam Ghosh, director at Blackridge Capital Advisors, is joining in on the other side of the market. Back in 2.